Hey everybody, welcome to ABA Inside Track, the podcast that's like reading in your car but safer. I'm your host Robert Perry Cruz, and with me as always are my fabulous co-hosts.
Hey Rob, it's Diana.
And it's me, Jackie, all cozy warm.
Yeah, and here we are. This is our getting ready for the fall. This is our October preview for what's to come in our podcast about behavior analysis and behavior analytic research.
I was just looking at the video, and Diana has orange on, and I have black on because it's Halloween month. Spooky!
So I've got this.
You look
this
very
is
festive
well,
as
it's
well.
it's a shirt if you wear it in the fall. It could be a shirt for the holiday time. It's a pretty
It's like an apple picking.
It's a
shirt
versatile
to me.
shirt for the season.
You're very apple picky.
I think I bought you that shirt.
Yeah. But anyway, as you noticed, it's fall and we're up here in New England, so it's cozy time. We're getting ready.
I got my dunks.
Yep, it's pumpkin coffee. We do apple picking, getting the kids ready for trick or treat, all that good stuff. And this is our monthly preview episode where we discuss what's to come in October 2021 for ABA Inside Track. And if you're listening to this in 2022, I mean, you already know, because just go to previous episodes. It's right there. So, with that out of the way, I don't think we have too much. We want to get back outside and pumpkin pick, so we should probably get started with what's coming up in October.
Time for episodes. It's a pumpkin coffee.
It smells really delicious.
It's really good. It's so good.
I was like, what smells so delicious over here? And then I realized that I was on camera and I just smelled your coffee. And so I had to say that I smelled your coffee so that no one thinks I'm creepy.
In case someone's listening to the audio version.
A discreet sniff.
Right?
And they're sharing some lab.
Then I realized how awkward it was. So
No, it's all.
I just
it's all
owned
good.
it.
Everyone out there knows you.
I just owned that sniff.
Okay, so we have 3 episodes ready for the month of October that we're really excited to talk about. So for the first episode of the month, we do have a guest who's going to be joining us. Dr. Mahshid Ghaemmaghami is going to be talking with us about delay tolerance training and how that fits in with the skills-based treatment repertoire. So we're very excited to have her on. And I guess I should say the name of the article. I was just like...
Should just be here chatting.
No, the article that we shall base our discussion around is titled Contingencies Promote Delay Tolerance by Ghaemmaghami, Hanley, and Jessel, and that was published in JABA 2016. So we'll talk about that. Next up, we're going to discuss Instructional Choice.
Ooh.
And we have several articles that are going to be part of that conversation. So that involves thinking about how one might make environmental alterations to the works that is presented by adding in choice opportunities to it in order to make that go more smoothly.
And this was a listener request.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, listener request, right out.
Thanks,
Woo-woo.
listener. All right, so I have several articles that we're going to talk about related to this one, which I am excited for.
I believe you. I really hear that excitement.
I'm just looking for the one I wanted to start with.
Oh, okay.
This is the one I want to start with.
In no particular order.
In an arbitrary order, I just chose. We're going to talk about a systematic review of the evidence base for instructional choice in K-12 settings. And that is by Royer, Lane, Cantwell, and Messenger, published in Behavioral Disorders 2017. Then we're going to talk about empowering teachers with low-intensity strategies to support academic engagement, implementation and effects of instructional choice for elementary students in inclusive settings. And that was written, this article is written in like 16-point font. That's why it's so thick.
Makes you feel good.
Yeah, it
You're
does.
like, I can really read.
Exactly. And that is Lane, Royer, Messenger. Wow, this is a power group here. This is their second publication on the topic. Common, Innes, and Swagger in Education and Treatment of Children, 2015.
Best last name ever.
Swagger?
Yeah.
Nice.
I got Swagger.
I think they're like a swag blogger.
I like that.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of unboxing videos on their channel.
Yeah. Then we have the influence of activity choice on problem behaviors maintained by escape versus attention by Romaniuk, Miltenberger, Conyers, Jenner, Jurgens, and Ringenberg. That is also quite a wonderful selection of last names. Published in JABA all the way back in 2002.
Wow.
I was going to say I was 12, but that's not
That is
true.
not true.
So close. So close. And then finally, Differential Effects of Seating Arrangements on Disruptive Behavior of 5th Grade Students During Independent Seat Work by Bicard, Ervin, Bicard, and Baylot-Casey, JABA 2012. And guess what? This is the whole reason why I wanted to do this topic, because Angela Ervin, you and I have the same original last name, Ervin.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are deaf cousins.
Well, we def are, because all of the Ervins here in America are related somehow.
Why don't you reach out to
Angela.
Angela if you want to come on the show?
Reach out to us.
Oh,
Ancestry.
Yeah, yeah, right? So IRVIN, much more common. ERVIN, hard to come by. They're located out of Memphis, and the Ervins came over and settled mostly in like the North Carolina kind of area.
Mm-hmm.
So good chance that we are distant cousins.
Wow.
Angela, reach out.
Amazing.
Okay.
You guys should both get 23andMe.
What if she looks just like? All right.
I'll be so
I probably
jealous.
completely freaked this poor woman out.
Yes.
All right.
She may or may not
You're
be
learning
listening
from me.
to this episode.
Anyway.
She's probably not, but that's okay. Anyway, no, I did want to talk about instructional choice. I think it's a great topic, and I'm excited to discuss it. That was a lucky find that when I found that article.
Serendipitous.
Perhaps. We shall see. All right, and then for our last episode for October, we're going to do Preference Assessment 2.0 is our current working title for that one, and we're going to have Dr. Christopher Tullis on as a guest. You may recall his name because we talked about an article by Tullis and Seaman Tullis way back. Oh, I don't know the episode now, maybe 165, and another preference assessment episode. But he has other research, and we said, why don't you come on and talk with us about it? So really excited
He said
to do
no,
that.
but then we kept begging, and he eventually
Right,
said,
exactly.
fine.
You know, and that's persistence is key.
We just snuck under his window and we're just recording.
That's my job.
Okay, so let me tell you what those articles are going to be. Review of the choice and preference assessment literature for individuals with severe to profound disabilities by Tullis, Canella Malone, Basbigill, Yeager, Fleming, Payne, and Wu in Education and Training in Autism and Developmental Disabilities, 2011. Assessing Indices of Happiness and Unhappiness in Individuals with Developmental Disabilities, a review by Dillon and Carr, published in Behavioral Interventions, 2007.
One of my most
I
favorite.
love this article.
Me too. Oh, dreamy.
I know.
Heart all around it.
And finally, Multiple Stimulus Without Replacement Preference Assessment, reducing the number of sessions to identify preferred stimuli, also one of my favorite topics actually, by Richmond, Barnard, Brack, Abbey, and Grubb in the Journal of Developmental and Physical Disabilities, 2016.
It is so hard with those journal articles that then abbreviate, and you're like trying to figure out what the abbreviation
Dev
is.
could be a couple different
Took a
things.
So you did a great job.
All right.
Yeah, so good stuff coming up.
That's October. So we got 3 episodes. Whew, I think it's another 4-week month. Sometimes it's a nice break. I think we had a couple 5-weekers in a row. So that is what's coming up on the show in October.
Yeah,
Is it keeping you awake, all these exciting episodes?
It's so crispy outside.
Oh.
We also should make sure that we mention that October's conference season.
Oh,
too.
let's do that. Let's do that before we move into Errata. Let's talk about.
Why don't you talk about
a
that?
lot of conference. Okay, well, October is conference season, at least as far as we are concerned, because those are the conferences we tend to hear about, know about the most of, based on where we are in the world. So we've got coming up, by the time you listen to this, it's actually in a couple days. We've got Babbitt's virtual conference. They're doing another virtual conference this year.
It is so good.
I was looking at the agenda, and I hate. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say this to Babbitt and all the organizers. Love you guys. I've said it to your face how much I love the conference. But seriously, like this year, I feel like there's at least 3 blocks in a row where it is 2 talks, and it's like that's a great talk. That's a great talk too. I can't go to both. I haven't double checked. I don't know if they're doing the video. If you can watch like a week after this year.
You can.
Can you?
I'm
Okay.
sure of it,
I should have double checked. I just Babbitt is like, well, I'm gonna go, so I don't really pay that much attention to some of the details. So I'll figure it out after. Just like when you actually, when you have Babbitt in person, you figure out where we're going to eat. You figure it out once you get to the conference.
Sure.
I like to crack the program book in the first, the opening talk.
it's never a matter of like, I don't want to be here. You know it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
But there are at least like 3, like straight in a row of like, I want to go to both of these at the exact same time. That's not fair.
Hilariously, I didn't look at the time, and I was like, this is a great lineup, because when I started going to Babbitt, you just had one track, and you just showed up, and whatever was happening, you did.
Was it the inside track?
It was the inside track. And then you mentioned it, like, what, I think we were talking about it, or someone was talking about it, and I was like, I didn't even see that there was conflicting
Oh no.
presentations.
Oh,
Boo.
they're definitely, there are a couple that look really good. A lot of great speakers, got some good keynotes. It's anyone who's anyone. I know there's a workshop on Thursday. I know Peter Gerhardt's doing a great workshop. Who else? I saw some else. But I know every time I see Peter Gerhardt, I always want to go to those. I don't think I can this year. But a lot of great talks. And if you're there on the virtual Friday, there's a virtual Friday.
That's what we call Thursday.
Yeah.
Virtual Friday.
But if you're there and you're like, what am I going to do at lunch? I guess I could go have lunch, or I could go sit outside for a minute. You know what? Don't. You should stay in and go to the ABA Inside Track lunch games. We've been asked to do lunch games again. So if you were able to go last year, you saw we did a couple games. We did BST Boss, we did Brad Pitt or Lasers.
That's my favorite.
I think we might do that one. We might do that one again. We might have some new games coming up. But yes, so don't worry about what you're doing for lunch, because you bought your lunch. You're just going to sit and you're going to chat with us is what you're going to do, I hope.
Have a grand old time.
I actually had so much fun doing that last year.
Same.
That was great.
I'm really looking forward to doing it again.
Me too.
It's a little weird, just like a lot of things last year, of like, I'm doing a thing. Like, does anyone know I'm here? Am I by myself in my basement? Because we did them in separate locations within our house.
Yes.
I was at work.
Oh, you? Okay.
Right,
I thought you were. I know Diana was somewhere else, and I was here in this room.
That was before we
model.
Oh, we got beautiful space it is today.
So it was a lot of fun. So please, if you're going to Babbitt, hang around at lunch on Friday and join us for our virtual games. We also, if you're out in more of the Midwestern area, we'll be attending the Thompson Center for Autism's conference, and we will be there. We'll be there in person. We'll be doing a talk on work-life balance. And this is the 4th year we're presenting there.
Yeah,
I think so.
I remember our first year there. We were also the lunch entertainment.
That's right.
We're so good at entertaining people while they eat.
Right?
Yep. It's so we're great
the
at
buffet
it.
is really our element.
But yeah, so we were doing I think this is the third talk we'll be doing.
Yeah.
We'll be doing there. So
I'm
again,
so excited to be back there.
yeah, if you can go to the show, go to the conference and see our show, which we're always a show, then we'd love to see you there. Otherwise, I'm sure at some point we'll put out the audio of that as like a bonus episode, just if you want to get the content from there and you can't attend. But
it's a fantastic conference because it's not solely focused on behavior analysis either. So there are tracks that are more educator-based, BCBA-based, and parent-based as well. So it's a really nice mix of a lot of different topics and different perspectives. And it's nice for that reason too. And not to mention, of course, the snacks.
Oh, which we did not get
We'll do a
last
recap.
year.
I know.
This year.
I hope the
We'll do a
snacks are
recap.
there.
Later.
Oh,
There gotta be.
They don't. Because
They just
They
gotta.
don't have to.
They gotta.
They don't have to be.
Man,
But they gotta be. They just gotta.
So,
Yep. So that's our October conference season.
Here's the conference season.
Busy weekends, definitely. All right. Now we're going to move into Errata, which the thing we didn't even mention at the top of the show, we were very professional and got right into it. This is the first recording where all 3 of us are in our new studio space.
Because I was sick last one.
That's right. So a couple, you can see we've got our sign up there. Hopefully the acoustics are pretty good in here. It's sort of doubling as also a place where like books and games are going. So
Clearly.
Our background is not really. Maybe we should get a green screen because our background doesn't really speak to what this show is. We're not talking about Battleship. Diana did at one point want to do a show. You did want to do a show on like games or like teaching games to children with disabilities.
No, like a whole different thing.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, we don't talk about it right now.
But in any case, who knows? Maybe they'll be relevant someday.
The studio does speak to, I think, our interests at least. Jackie does not really like board games, but Rob and I really do. So we use this space for gaming.
I mean, it is your house,
right?
So
That's true,
right?
I know, but
It's okay.
We're like multiple types of nerds.
I mean, if we looked that way,
You're not really.
We have. You're not really a nerd. No.
I do other things.
That's right. You're multifaceted.
We could do that way, and we could do Donald Duck comic books, which is what's on the other side of the
Also not my interest.
Oh, those are classics.
For you.
Classics.
Preference assessment 2.0, right? October.
I think we're just still
What were
working
you
out some
gonna say?
details. Oh, like our lighting, if you notice, we're pretty pale. I think we're
We're
gonna have
always
to
pale,
invest
though.
I don't
in
think
a
that's nothing's changing that.
whatever this
No.
light system is. So if you're watching this, we apologize for our ghostly appearances. If you're
I do
listening,
not.
just imagine we're ghosts because it's October.
Right.
Ooh. Oh.
Ghost.
Were you going to talk about the survey?
Yes. So usually at this part of the show, we do some emails from listeners, but we actually had done something a little new, and we said, why don't we just share some of these results? Because people filling out a survey for, that's kind of like an email, right?
Sure.
So if you had not seen, then here's some information. If you had seen our survey, we had a survey because we're coming up on it's been a year that we've had our Patreon page, and there were a lot of pluses. We really didn't quite know what to expect from it. Would anyone care? Would anyone want more content? Could we put out new content that was exclusive to patrons? And there were things we learned along the way. We got to meet a lot of great people. Certainly
did.
for those of you who listened to our book club supervision episodes last month, and you heard Alan Haberman, someone we met through the Patreon page and joined us for our book clubs there. Some of those which will be unlocked throughout this year. But that's where we first met Alan, and he was such an amazing contributor to those discussions that when it was time for our live feed book club or main feed book club, we said, you got to come on. And I think that episode was really as good as it was because of Alan's contribution. So again, a lot we learned from people, a lot of great people we got to meet. But we thought a couple of the activities that we sort of put on the list didn't quite work as we'd intended. So like we had merchandise that took us a lot longer to make than usual because we're not artists or merchandisers of things.
Not really.
Not at all.
I think the book clubs were a smash. We loved them, and we're really excited that some people who aren't on Patreon will get a chance to eventually hear them as they unlock throughout this year. But we really wanted to look at, what is it that people who are patrons would want from a new year? And then people who aren't interested in the Patreon or didn't know there was a Patreon, what are some things that might be fun to sort of have in there? So we had a lot of surveys. We had surveys of our patrons. We had a survey of other listeners on Facebook. We got some great thoughts, some really nice comments. A lot of people just said, thank you guys, keep doing what you're doing, which is great. But, again, Thanks. It's nice. You got to evolve or it'll grow stale, right? So we looked at those results. We sort of talked about some ideas that we were having, and really what we came up with is we're going to be updating the page with some new benefits. We're going to get rid of some older benefits that people sort of were like, it was nice to have, but maybe don't need them as much in the new year. We're not going to go into a detailed list right now because I think we'll probably have an episode once everything's launched and updated on the page with sort of what those tiers are. We'll kind of just throw out a little teaser for it. But really briefly for now, the things that people, certainly patrons were asking for, and then a lot of other listeners
clamoring
who said, oh, I didn't even, some people said, I didn't know you had a Patreon, but if I had heard about it, this is what I'd love to see. Were some
totally
new
fair.
bonus content. So a little bit more content. Some people really wanted some live episodes, which is something we toyed with the idea of doing. So I think that's something we're going to be adding to our tiers.
Yep.
Voting, people really liked voting. So what we're going to be also adding in is a separate tier, lower tier. Because right now you can subscribe for discounts to the CE store. You can subscribe for episodes a week ahead of time. And at the $10 level, you can subscribe for access to our long bonus episodes, which are worth our book clubs, which are worth 2 CEs. We do 4 of those a year, but we're going to add a separate tier for a little bit less, just for $3 for people who just just want to say thanks to ABN Citrac, and I kind of like the idea of voting for things. So you're going to get a little bit of access to those voting pages for books, for topics. We won't be doing that all the time, but that'll be something once every season. I believe we decided would make sense because again,
the wind changes.
It'd be great if we could say, just vote on something, and the next week we'll do the episode. We need a little bit more time than that to prepare.
Lifetime, right?
So it's going to be something that we do seasonally. So that's an addition. And then we also had talked about doing, and people had asked about, could we do some like extra, maybe some bonus content, maybe have some other guests on for something a little bit different than just discussing the research. And again, we're always thinking of kind of fun ideas, what might be fun. So we're going to be looking into, if we have any, old guests that might want to come back and talk about something a little bit different. But we'll keep that all updated on the main page and on our our main feed. But we're going to be having those extras, but specifically a little bit more chance to vote. So we do some live episodes as well as the other things like our CE discounts and our book clubs. Those are going to be continuing on. A couple people said, hey, do we get some more cool merch? We'll look into it. It was a lot to do this year, and it's still like taking forever for those special mugs to come out. They're on the way. But it was something that, not really our forte. Making cool content about behavior analysis is really what we're all about. So thank you to our patrons who've been with us for however long they've been with us. Some people for just last month, some people for the whole year we've been doing this. Thank you for people on Facebook who shared their thoughts as well. We hope you join us over there on the Patreon page. And just thanks for everyone out there who's listening to these episodes and checking in and just, writing us emails or purchasing CEs or just listening quietly and, mentioning us to somebody that like, hey, this might be a fun thing for you to listen to, new behavior analyst or veteran behavior analyst, whoever you are out there.
That's probably the most useful thing that you could do.
Same.
Truly.
Yep.
If you want more people to know about us and the content that we provide, just tell other people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
so
I
thanks
tell
if
everyone.
you do that.
I'm not quite sure how to tell people that. I sort of want to sometimes.
It is awkward, actually.
Super awkward.
But,
like when I'm pumping gas.
That's why we're asking others.
I'm like, hey, I have a podcast.
I have a podcast
about behavior analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Pump, 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 pump.
If you're out there and you're a BCBA who's consulting to you or working in a public school and you're ever in a meeting with me, I'll probably do the like, hi, Robert Perry Cruz. I'll give
you have to say, hey, everybody.
Hey, yeah, I start my meeting out that way. I'm like, oh, wait a minute, that's that podcast guy.
That would be funny.
Well, I think that brings us.
It.
That's
Yep,
it. That's all we can say.
And
that brings us to the end of our preview episode.
Wrapping it up.
We'll be back next week with the beginning of those fun October episodes. Again, hope to see you. If you see us at any of these, the BABAT conference or the Thompson Center for Autism conference, please come up and say hi. We really do love it when people come up and say hi, or hey, when are you doing an episode on this? So please. Well, you can just come up and say. You don't have to tell us an episode.
Come up to Babbitt virtually. Come virtually up to us.
Yeah, definitely come to our lunch games. Come to our talk.
At lunch games.
We're very excited to be doing all that again, and we're very excited to see any of you we can, especially after the past year. So come on over. But yeah, and we have full episodes next week and for the rest of the month. But until then, keep responding. Bye.
Bye.